This is the Dodgers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up? Hello and welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Well, that was a fitting end to this 4-game series between the Dodgers and Padres, and to say it got a little spicy at the end is a bit of an understatement. 7 hit batters through the series and only one bench clearing episode. I expected there would be more. They hit Ohtani there at the end and he waved them off, because even Kershaw, old man Kersh, was over the fence, like ready to beat somebody up. And Ohtani was like, it's cool. Like, no, stay down, stay back. We're good. And then he's over there talking to them. And Eric Karros is blown away. And I kind of agree. I mean, it says a lot for keeping the calm. It says a lot for who Shohei Ohtani is. It says a lot to be bigger than the situation, be the bigger man, to just say, let's just put this game to bed and get out of here. We don't need any more whatever, fighting, players being ejected, any more bad feelings, but there's plenty, right? There's still going to be bad feelings. The next time these two teams meet in 2 months or whatever, they'll be throwing at each other again. Don't you think they won't? They'll absolutely be headhunting again. So I don't know that I feel great about the way this one ended by any stretch. It was a loss, but rivalries are good. I think what Shohei Ohtani did was fairly remarkable, right? Because most of us wouldn't have done that, right? We're all pretty fired up and heated right at this moment, right? And this is a great point from Seabad. Ohtani, you don't beat up your little brother. That's kind of what I kind of said. My wife and daughter were in the room while I was watching, and they didn't see him get hit, but they saw the benches clear. And my daughter was like, what's going on? Why are they doing that? And I said, well, I used a few choice words to describe Mike Shildt. I'm not a big fan. I feel like he's petty, but at the same time, all that being said, I get where he's coming from. This was Eric Karros' point as well. I get it. It bubbled over, and it was Tatis. But the fact that the same thing happened to the Dodgers in the next frame, they hit our best player, and it was a 3-0 count. It was utterly intentional, without a doubt. There's no question. So that guy got run. That made sense. But the Padres didn't seem to be running out of the dugout. So that's another thing that made you think, well, that was intentional. A lot of those HBPs were unintentional. I mean, how about Little? Jack Little. Welcome to the bigs, my friend. Plunks Tatis completely unintentionally, and is out there like, no, sorry. I think Dave Roberts and Mike Shildt might end up meeting in the parking lot. I don't think I've ever seen Doc that pissed. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe some of you are better at reading lips than I am, but I think I read Doc say, I'm going to get your ass. I think that's what I saw from him, right? As it was kind of dispersing, as Doc made his way around from the back of the scrum to the near home plate area. I think he wanted to go. I was just like, really? Okay. I mean, you don't see too many actual punches thrown in a base brawl. It's more pushing and shoving. Roy says, this is not a rivalry. It's a conflict. That's a very interesting way of describing it. Madres are not our equal. Yeah, that becomes a lengthier discussion. I don't know that we need to get into what's a rivalry and what's not, right? It always kind of ends up coming back to how many championships you have. That's always a fair point. It's hard to not argue it from that perspective. But as the guy who covers the Clippers, you know, that's the end of the argument for the Lakers, even when the Clippers are a better team. How many championships have you won? And I always come back with the Clippers are never going to win that many championships. Sorry, it's never going to happen. Not in my lifetime and not in my daughter's lifetime, probably. They're not going to win 16 championships. It's never going to happen. They might win one or two at some point, but if the end of the argument always comes back to when you're arguing as a Clipper fan with a Laker fan, how many championships do you want? You know, and I don't think that's fair. But I do know this: when you talk to the players about the status of a rivalry, it always does come back to that. And specifically in the Clippers-Lakers analogy, the Clippers do not consider it a rivalry, right? They are like, look, we're not in the same league. Now, I look at this Dodgers-Padres thing and I go, I don't think the Padres think that right now. They're not going, we're not in the same league as them. They absolutely think they are equal to the Dodgers because they don't look at the amount of championships, because it's hard to say, yeah, the Dodgers won last year and they beat the Padres along the way. They won in 2020, the COVID shortened season. But, you know, and that team had some same players, not many, but a few. But prior to that, well, Dodgers won in 88. There were no similar players. So to say the Dodgers and Padres don't have a rivalry because of the amount of championships, it's not fair, right? This is a rivalry. And rivalries are largely based on dislike. And that is what's happening here. The Dodgers and Padres do not like each other. It's weird to say that. I feel like the Giants right now are less of a rival than the Padres are. It's like the Yankees and Red Sox. It doesn't matter how good either team is. They don't like each other, and that makes a rivalry. The Lakers and Celtics will always be a rivalry. Now, granted, they both have a lot of championships, so that makes it a little bit easier. And they faced each other in the finals a lot. So that's another thing you add on. Baseball's different. The Dodgers and Padres could never meet in the World Series. So proximity is one thing that makes a rivalry. Dislike is another thing. You know, plunking players left, right, and center. Now, a lot of these, what did I say, 7 HPP during this series? I think only 2 of them were intentional. But it was it was heated. There's no doubt. Absolutely heated. And what Shohei Ohtani did was fairly remarkable. I mean, I think a lot of us should look at that and file that away in the back of our head and try to take the high road more often than not. Now, I know damn well if I was in that exact same spot, I would have been heated. I don't know that I would have been able to be like, it's cool, sit down. But when you're the best player in baseball and, you know, you're a big, strong dude and it didn't really hurt, then, you know, it's like, let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's see what the one art says. It's not a rivalry until it's a big deal. No matter the records or players, it doesn't matter the record. Dodgers and Giants is always a big deal. Not the same with San Diego. If San Diego sucks, no one will care. That's true. That's a fair point. It does matter more now because the Padres are good. I think a lot of Roy and Seabad and a lot of you regulars are kind of, you know, looking back to the way it was. The Padres have been bad for a long time. I mean, they made it to the World Series against the Yankees in 99, 2000, and that's it. That's as close as they've gotten. But now that they are a contender and they have been for a few years, that changes everything. When they're last place, you know, when they're the lowly Madres, we say that as a joke, but when they're bad, then they're the Madres. And nothing against mothers. I mean, I don't know why that's a derogatory comment, but I've called them that too. I guess we should take the high road on that comment as well. It's really not fair, right? To when they're bad to call them the mothers. But the fact is that they are for real now. They're banged up on the pitching rotation, as are the Dodgers, but they're just deeper. So this is a rivalry now. Whether it has been over time, no, but it is now. And it has been for the last few years, right? I know as a fan, when my blood gets boiling against an opponent, then that's a rivalry, right? When you hate that other team, that's a rivalry as far as I'm concerned. And I do not like the Padres. And I feel the same way about the damn Giants. So they're both rivalries if you asked me. We'll get into the game a little bit. Dodgers lose 5-3, win the series though, 3-1. We'll talk about Yamamoto's performance. We'll talk about the crazy ninth inning after the break. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel, where you can find Jeff and Vince with the Locked On Daily Dodgers podcast. Make sure you check them out. I'm sure they will have an opinion on this as well. They come Monday through Friday for about 30 to 35 minutes. I come on right after the game and break it down for you with instant reaction. So thank you for watching and listening to the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Today's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Trade Coffee. Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, a lifeline, the thing that gets you from half asleep in the morning to ready for the day. And if it's that essential, why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade Coffee is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. And let's be honest, beans is what it's all about. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour over purist, they've got a roast that you will love. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering a 50% off 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's trade.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial. Again, drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. Today's episode also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. You know, I am a big fan of Game Time. You know, if you've ever decided to head to a ball game with friends or family at the last minute, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. It's a cool thing to do. And sometimes last minute is a lot more fun than, planning it all out. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drink, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. I mentioned this before. A lot of times people think, as I do this for a living covering sports, that I get free tickets from everybody. Oh, here you go, it's free tickets. When I worked at ESPN, I did get them occasionally, but it wasn't like all the time. Now I get none, right? I'm like you. I pay for tickets all the time. So when I do that, I go to Game Time. When my friends ask me, hey, can you give me free tickets? I say no, but go to Game Time, right? It's as close as you can get to getting free tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets on Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Locked On MLB. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Dodgers fall 5-3. They rallied in the ninth, thanks in large part to the Padres. Hit by pitch, walk. We had one single, I think, in the ninth inning, but they were able to plate 3 runs. And that one catcher's interference fielding error, that I've never seen that before. This umpiring crew was a disaster, if you asked me. The ball hit the ground and bounced up into Maldonado's chest protector, under his chest protector, and the third base umpire waved it off, scored the run. Like, how is that catcher's interference or whatever they called? That was bizarre. And then the home plate umpire, how many missed strike threes did that guy have? I mean, that was brutal. He robbed Yamamoto of the immaculate inning. Not like it would have mattered. The Dodgers gave him no run support at all. Again, yes, Victor, you're totally right. 2.5 runs per game. You know where that fits in the league as far as ranking for run support? Second to last. Brutal. And it always happens. It doesn't always happen to the best guy on your team as far as pitchers go, the best guy in your rotation, but it does always happen to one guy. And it's unfortunate that it's Yamamoto this year. But the home plate umpire was a disaster. I mean, I felt bad at the end for the Padres, also kind of for the Dodgers. Like, look, let's just get this over with, right? Stop calling. There was 2 or 3 he missed in the 9th inning alone. So that was brutal. He missed the one for Yamamoto. I mean, brutal. I mean, the one for Yamamoto too was as middle as it gets. I mean, that wasn't even on the line, the box. It wasn't even on the line. It was like it was right down Main Street, as they like to say. That dude was brutal. I mean, for every good night we have as far as home plate umpires go, I feel like we have 3 bad ones. Last night was the one where we didn't bring it up. Last night, that guy did a good job. I don't know if that was Tripp or not, but tonight, that guy behind the home plate was okay early, but then it got really, really bad. So Yamamoto, once again, no run support. I thought he was okay. It started off shaky, though, don't you think? He gave up 4 fly balls for his first 4 outs that were at the track and almost to the wall. And then the next one, his 5th at bat, was Xander Bogaerts, who hit one out. And how about Xander Bogaerts? The guy was 2 for 25 prior to that at bat in the 9th inning last night, where he had a 2 RBI double. Then tonight, 4 for 4. That's turning it around Andy Paya style right there. As far as the lineup goes for the Dodgers, Mookie Betts struggled again. He's one hit through this entire series. He was awful. Hopefully he finds some rhythm against the lowly Nationals, who won tonight. They beat the lowly Rockies, so that's not saying much. Ohtani 1 for 4, only 1K, hit the ball hard. Will Smith 0 for after the game-winning walk-off last night. Dalton 0 for, Freddie 0 for. It was just 0 for across. Teo had a hit. Muncy 0 for, and Tommy Edman 2 for 2 and 2 walks. So a perfect night. He's been very, very good of late. Last 17 games, a 305 average, 11 RBI, and an OPS over 800, which all of those numbers grew with his performance tonight. And Shohei, the Bay City, had snapped an 0 for 10 slump. The Dodgers lose this one, but I think it's just good for this series to be over, and it's also good that we don't have to deal with the Padres again for another 2 months. It's stressful. It's fun and stressful at the same time. I'm sure the Dodgers appreciate the competition, but it'll be nice to it ends a streak of 29 games against over 500 teams. So it'll be nice to have the Nationals come to town, who are struggling to say the least. Let's see what Victor has to say before we wrap up here. I feel the only reason why we won this series is because we got their bullpen. But if they were to leave their starters in to pitch 7 and 8 innings, we would have lost. Yeah, fair point. I mean, even Eric Karros and Joe Davis brought that up. It's like, you think this is a good plan right now? Because it hasn't been prior to tonight. Another nice performance from the starting pitcher. Bergert went 4 2/3. He struck out 3, but the Dodgers were just baffled. They did manage 3 hits somehow. But Morahone came in and took care of business. Estrada was much better than the last time we saw him when he gave up 5 runs. Adam was okay. Reynolds gave up 2 runs over a third of an inning. Suarez got thrown out of the game for hitting Ohtani, and Matsui got the job done at the end of the game. As far as Yamamoto, 3 runs on 7 hits. He struck out 5, gave up 1 home run. That was to Bogaerts. Trevino, 15 pitches, 2/3 of an inning, 0s across the board, but he hit a batter, and Little hit a batter too. He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Welcome to the major leagues for him. Seabad says he's seen that call before. Last year, Blue Jays game where the catcher had a ball go under his chest protector. Runner on second was awarded third base. Okay. As I've always said, appreciate that, Seabad. It seems like every night in a baseball game, and I've been watching baseball since I was a little kid, every night there's something that we've never seen before. So for no other reason, I appreciate that call. That's going to do it for us here. The Locked On Dodger Postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Again, don't forget to check out Jeff and Vince with the Locked On Daily Dodgers podcast Monday through Friday. Dodgers fall 5-3. Right back to work tomorrow. Nats are in town. First pitch at the Ravine, 7:10. Clayton Kershaw versus Mackenzie Gore will be here right afterwards to break it down for you on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Appreciate the comments. Take care. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow.